Hello everybody, welcome back to Main Dude Gaming. For today's video, I'm ranking every single Mario Kart World Knockout Tour. Before I get into these rankings, I just want to clarify what I'm actually ranking on. I'm ranking on my opinion, how visually appealing it is, and overall how much fun I actually had playing these knockout tours. So without further ado, let's get to ranking. Okay, so coming in at last place for me is the Boomerang Rally. Although it is one of the new rallies Nintendo released, I found it quite bland. The beginning from Salty Speedway to Cheap Cheap Falls was pretty boring. It was mostly just very boring and flat turns and boring scenery. There was this nice split road section, remember? Where you can split between the road and the water to Cheap Cheap Falls. It was pretty fun. Cheap Cheap Falls to Moo Meadows was again bland. There was this nice flower thing that they added where you can ride it, bounce, and it turns into like a glider section. But that was, again, pretty much it. Moo Moo Meadows to Choco Mountain was fine. Nice downhill section where you can just, like, jump over these ramps. Again, after that, the rest was pretty forgettable. And the last final track, Whistle Stop Summit, is the only real good thing about this rally, hence why I put it in last. Okay, so coming in at 9th place is the Cherry Rally. The Cherry Rally started with Peach Beach to Dino Dino Jungle. It started boring with a huge straightaway on a beach where you just have to dodge a few cataquacks. I did like the section where you had to ride across the waterfalls. I found that section to be really fun, jumping over the rocks. Brilliant scenery, brilliant part in this rally. Dino Dino Jungle to Koopa Troopa Beach was boring. Another straightaway. The fish in the middle of the water where you had to dodge while gliding was pretty cool. I also liked how they included the Robo Donkey and DK Spaceport. That was a nice touch. DK Spaceport to Whistle Stop Summit had nothing going on, and the final track, Desert Hills, is just a very boring and bland track to race on. Hence why this is a little bit better than the Boomerang Rally in my opinion, but not much better. Okay, so coming in at 8th place is the Acorn Rally. I want to point out, I know that this rally is low, but it's not bad at all. I just feel like everything after is just quite good. So the Acorn Rally starts off strong. It has us driving through these sewers, dodging chain chomps. I really liked how big the sewers were. Many places to trick off and use boost panels. It didn't feel like, very cluttered with the 24 players. Then we briefly move into Wario Stadium, then straight off to Choco Mountain. This part was okay. It was mostly just road in a few turns, and you go through those guys with the long legs with the boost panels. But this is a hot take. After that, when we move from Choco Mountain to Peach Stadium, I never really enjoyed driving on the highway or the big road in Peach Stadium. I thought it was pretty bland. It was just like any other road. Although I do like that they added boost panels there. Gives us a little bit of speed and, increases the action in this rally. The road to Cheap Cheap Falls was the killer in my opinion. I mean, there was a long straightaway on water, which in my opinion, it dragged on a little too long. And if you ever played Mario Kart World, the water physics are not the best. It's not the best to drive on water. Not fun at all. Then we finally ended in DK Pass for the final lap, which is a very good final track, which is why it's better than the others, but I felt like the middle in the Acorn Rally kind of let itself down. Started off well, middle was bland, and was good, so that's why I put it in 8th place. Okay, so coming in at 7th place is the Golden Mushroom Rally. So for a first rally in the game, not too bad, but as expected, it's not good or bad. So from Desert Hills to Mario Bros. Circuit was a good introduction of how Knockout Tour works. Nice road, few turns. There was a nice split road from Mario Bros. Circuit to Choco Mountain. Kind of like took away from the hecticness of the Knockout Tour, split the players in two. Follow that, we head to Moo Moo Meadows, which again, a generic road. And then we head to the SNES Mario Bros. Circuit, which is always a fun track to play. Lots of opportunities to take shortcuts and drift around after a lot of straight driving. Then we head over to Acorn Heights, and wow, what a beautiful drive that was. One of the most beautiful tracks in the game, if not the most beautiful in my opinion. It is such a great track, so many paths to take, and it always ends up in a fun time whenever I play it. Okay, so coming in at 6th place is the Ice Rally. To be honest, I think the start of this rally is one of the best in the game. Visually outstanding and very fun to play. Sky High Sunday to Starview Peak is amazing as well. The ice road you have to drive on then later to the ice cave is really fun, with penguins I believe. to dodge. Um, then Starview Peak to Dandelion Depth is also pretty good. Sliding down the ski trail with so many paths is so fun to do. Especially with a golden mushroom hand, you can go at rapid speeds, blowing by your opponents. The rally starts to slow down again at Cheap Cheap Falls, so sorry for all the water levels in Mario Kart World. I just do not enjoy driving on the water, and Cheap Cheap Falls unfortunately has that big water section, that big straightaway water section, so sorry again. Another, and then after that water section at Cheap Cheap Falls, we go back to Peach Stadium. This section of Peach Stadium is a little nicer. It has a nice tunnel we go through with the boost panels and a lot of cars to dodge. Then finally we end in Crown City. For a final track, it's not too bad. Lots of rails to go on and overall a solid track to drive on, which is why I put the Ice Rally in 6th place. Okay, so coming in at 5th place is the Moon Rally. I like how in the Moon Rally we got shot out of a cannon at the start. I also like the split road in Bowser's Castle where you have to dodge Boom Boom. After escaping the castle, we go into this dry bones looking area, then we go into like this dead looking water to Toad's factory and do half a lap in there. Then Toad's Factory to Moo Moo Meadows was alright. It's definitely one of the better Moo Moo Meadows sections in the Knockout Tour, but it's not the most exhilarating experience. Just cars, road, your normal intermission track. Moo Moo Meadows to Cheap Cheap Falls was surprisingly not awful. The water section here was not mostly straightaway. And with poor handling in the water, it actually turned out to be a decent section. Bunch of rocks to trick off and tight turns kept this section tricky and pretty fun overall. Cheap Cheap Falls to Faraway Oasis was pretty nice as well. I really liked the section where you ran with the buffaloes. I thought that was nice. I thought that was a nice piece of detail. Then finally we arrive in Faraway Oasis for the final lap. Solid track, not the best in Mario Kart World, but a good ending to a pretty good rally, and that's why it earns a 5th spot in my ranking. Okay, so coming in at 4th place is the Spiny Rally. This started with a route from Boo Cinema to Starview Peak. The only criticism I have of this section, it was way too short. This section was that good. Amazing transition from the creepy setting to the frosty setting, no straightaway, and this part has a lot of turns and potential for shortcuts. Starview Peak to DK Pass was nice as well. We had to dodge these ice bros on a very narrow trail, which actually gave us a good obstacle for once. Then the trail got wider as we made it to DK Pass. DK Pass to Salty Salty Speedway is where the rally starts to slow down a little. It has a nice section, beautiful scenery, but boring driving. Then Salty Salty Speedway to Peach Beach was not the best either. It was just driving on the sand for the most part. And Peach Beach to Wario's Shipyard had this long, boring section of water. I like driving through that dragon, but that was pretty much it. It took me like 30 seconds to get through that water, and nothing was going on. And then the rally finally picks up back in Wario's Shipyard. This track utilizes the water mechanics so well. It's really hard to keep control of your car on the waves, so you have to either choose the faster route, go in the water and deal with the waves, or take the longer route and deal with the concrete. Great track design, great comeback ramp at the end, and great way to end this great rally. Its start was one of the best in the game, and end was one of the best in the game, but really the third quarter of this rally let it down. Now the first rally to be in the top 3 is the Cloud Rally. This rally starts off getting shot out of a cannon from Airship Fortress. We then make our way to the Shy Guy Bazaar. This is a great route. We drive through this section with a chain shop going around some quicksand with star boost all around. At Shy Guy Bazaar, it's really hectic. So many walls and tiny spaces for 24 players can get really intense. We then move to Mario Bros Circuit, which is nice. It has some nice turns and back on a long highway. Mario Bros Circuit to Crown City was the worst part of this rally. I feel it was a pretty generic area, not bad at all, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more with this part. Then in my opinion, the best part in this rally is Crown City to Faraway Oasis. We go on a replication on the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's just beautiful. So many boost panels to drive on. You can even ride along the top of the rails of the bridge. Now do be careful, this is risky because you could trick off into the water. And like I just said, many areas to do tricks off, so many rails, so many cars, and bomb cars. It makes this one of the most exciting experiences in Mario Kart World. Then we finally end off to one of the best tracks in the game, Great Question Block Ruins. As I'm sure you all know, this track has some crazy shortcuts, allowing for some great comebacks right at the end, hence why the Cloud Rally is in 3rd place in my... Okay, so the runners-up in my ranking rankings is the Heart Rally. We start off at Shy Guy Bazaar to Airship Fortress. This was a pretty solid start. If you look at the map, lots of turns to keep you busy. And the next part is why this rally is so high on the list. Airship Fortress. We get launched to Airship Fortress on a cannon. So many twists and turns. And there's also no railings on the side, so you have to make sure you're driving well, drifting well, don't want to fall off, or that could end your hopes in the knockout tour. This place you have to dodge Boom Boom, Thwomps, and many more of Bowser's enemies. The scenery in this place is just wild, great aesthetic, really captures what the Bowser's Castle all about. Then we move on to the water section. On our way to Dry Bones Burnout, we have to dodge fish bones and drive across a cemetery. I love how in this section the dry bones arise from the ground, really gives off a creepy vibe. Then from Dry Bones Burnout to SNES Mario Circuit was great. SNES Mario Circuit is one of those tracks that just never get old. Really fun, lots of shortcuts, always a blast when playing it. From Mario Circuit we go to Moo Moo Meadows. This time it was not as bland as it usually is. We did around a half lap over there, dodging cows, then we made our way to Peach Stadium for the ending. Peach Stadium in the dark is really nice to look at, and the final track is a blast to drive. Not much bad I can say about this rally, which is why it is in second. Okay, so first place in the rankings is the newly added Drill Rally. This rally is just perfection in my opinion. We start off strong with rough waves from Wario's shipyard. After getting soaked, we move on to DK Pass. Great starting section so far. After DK Pass, we go to Dandelion Depths. Really great drive and one of the better intermission tracks in this game. Then we finally go back to my favorite, as you already know, SNES Mario Circuit. Talked about it a lot in this video, so you know the drill. No? No one gets the joke? Okay, that's on me, guys. Anyways, it's a fun track, always keeps you on your toes. Following Mario Circuit is Dry Bones Burnout for the best finish in Mario Kart World Knockout Tour. We drive across the cemetery again, then arrive in Dry Bones Burnout for a very intense aesthetic, a lot of lava, waterfalls of lava, and Dry Bones Burnout is just one of the most visually pleasing tracks in Mario Kart World. And then we drive across some wall, I think maybe Bowser's Castle's wall, where we have to dodge some thwomps and some bullies. Then we have to drive up a ramp or a mountain, kind of like we did in Acorn Heights, but Bowser style. We have to drive around lava and dodge falling rocks. Then we end in Bowser's Castle for a great climatic ending to the best knockout tour rally in Mario Kart World. Okay, so that is it, guys. I ranked every single Mario Kart Tour knockout rally. So before you guys go, like and subscribe, and see you all next time.